All right, welcome to the Choose Hard podcast. I'm your host, Cody McBroom, and with me I have Coach Kyle Johnson once again. Kyle's moving to Florida in November, so if he's in the office and I'm podcasting, I'm like, might as well come on, bro.
Might as well.
Let's do it. So today we're going to do a Q&A. We got 5 questions.
Yeah.
Basically all fitness and or nutrition focused. These came from, I had a couple from Instagram. One was actually from a client of mine, and then one was from a buddy who he was just texting me questions. And I was like, I'll answer that on the podcast. But here's a brief idea of what the answer is, because I didn't want to be the guy that's like, listen to the podcast and I'll tell you, because he's a friend. But yeah, we're going to get into, I think they're going to be good ones for everybody listening, because they're kind of touching on the basics of, I mean, really, some of them hit on like the seed oil one, for example. Like I just realized I haven't talked about that at all. I've had asked quite a few times in messages, but I've never actually talked about it on the podcast. And I feel like that's such a big, like, hot topic right now.
Huge.
So this will be good. And then we'll be able to kind of go on little mini rants throughout it. So dude, let's get started.
The greatest things in life all start with a challenge.
You must accept that everything is hard before it gets easy.
Everything you want in life begins with a hard path.
All right. So question number 1, do you program strongman work, like farmer's carries, and or like sandbag work specifically?
This was such a random question. But I guess a good one. I mean, I think that, so there's 2 ways I look at this. Strongman conditioning, strongman training, it really doesn't serve a huge purpose outside of the specificity of strongman competition. But I don't even include sandbag work or farmer's carries as strongman training. At this point, I don't. It's just so commonly used as just functional fitness now. Yeah. When I think of strongman stuff, I think of like yoke carries and log presses. I used to, the gym I trained at for a long time, we had a log there, and we used to use that. And it's actually fun doing like clean and presses with a log. But it was kind of one of those things that was in the corner, and we all used it for our training sessions, and we never used it with clients. At my last facility, I sold it right before we got here just because of sizing. I had a yoke rack, which was fun. It was really just kind of like a spare squat rack, to be honest with you, that was movable. I very rarely, like, I have a cool picture of me doing it, but like, I don't know. There wasn't much purpose of me walking with it on my shoulders. You know, it's just not, I don't know. I think that's kind of all, it's specificity. You know, I don't want to say it's overrated because not that many people do it.
Right.
But it doesn't serve a huge purpose outside of strongman work specifically. Now, when I think of farmer's carries and sandbag work, I don't consider that in the category of strongman, even if farmer's carries are initially from strongman. But it's also just, if you studied strength and conditioning, it's just it's a part of it. Push, pull, hinge, squat, carry. It's like part of the 5 fundamental movement patterns and exercises you have to do. So I use carries all the time, all kinds of different carries. And I don't use sandbags that often because not everybody has good sandbags. I personally do use them here, and I usually do them as front rack walks, just holding it and walking. I used to do sandbag front rack squats too, which I haven't done in a while. It's just so difficult too because it's such a big thing. And for a while, all I had was a 115-pound sandbag. So it's like you can only do so much. Like really, it's like walk a short distance and then you're out of breath, which was the whole point. And then I got a second one. That one's like 45 or 50 pounds. You can do a little bit more with it, you know, but it still takes up so much space, you know?
And even then, like with the sandbag, sure, you could take certain bags out of the sandbag.
Right.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a gym setting, whether you're a trainer or whether you're just in there working out, like having to unzip the sandbag, take the bags out. And if you've ever worked with them long enough, you know the sand gets everywhere.
Everywhere.
It never stays in one place.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how often you use that thing. It's going to get sand everywhere.
That's why I have one bag of sand in each one.
Oh, okay.
And you can't change the weight. It's funny, dude. The big one that I have is when we were moving, we had to get rid of this sandbox my daughter had. And it was like one of those, have you ever seen those turtles? It's like, or they have different ones, but it's like a turtle shell you pull off and then it's a sandbox.
Yeah.
So we're moving and me and Shannon were looking at it. We're like, we're not going to take all this sand. And she's kind of over it now. She's getting older at the time. And I literally just had her help me funnel it into I went to Giant lifting up the street, got a sandbag, came back and just like, let's load it in here. I'll take it to the gym. And it's the same weight that Shannon weighs. So I always joke, I'm like, I use this because it's the equivalent of me carrying my wife in a crazy situation. She gets hit over the head and I'm like, I got to take you out or whatever.
Yeah, here you go, honey.
Yeah, I can save you. But yeah, I don't have, there's, times that I've done like, even with high rocks, I was using it. You do like sandbag over the shoulder. That's why I ended up getting a lighter one, because you do have to do sandbag lunges in high rocks. So again, specificity. But I like kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells way more. That's always going to be my go-to. And then for farmer's carries, I think everybody should be doing farmer's carries. And then depending on who you are, what you're going through, we change what kind of farmer's carry you're doing. Because if I want to work on lateral flexion, or really it's like, people always say like, rotational core exercises. I look at rotational exercises as sport specific or movement specific exercises, not necessarily ab exercises. When I'm doing ab work in a rotation, it's anti-rotation. And if I'm doing, it's like anti-rotation, anti-extension, anti-lateral flexion is a single arm carry. Even farmer's carry is really, I don't even know what you would consider. That's just bracing. Yeah. Because you have counterbalance of the other bell. But you can do a half rack. So one kettlebell up top, front rack, and then one at your side. You can do just one up here. You can do 2 front rack carry. Like, there's so many variations of carries you can do. I think it depends on where the person needs work. Or we're just rotating them to work on all of them. Yeah.
So you're definitely programming them. It's just, you're not usually for just strongman.
Yeah. And I think this is why when working with clients, it's important to know where they train, because at a big box gym, it's just not fun doing that stuff. No. Because usually sometimes I don't have kettlebells, so you got to use dumbbells. Okay. There goes any front rack stuff. Yep. So now I can only do, carries to my sides. It kind of goes, overhead carries go out the window too, because it's just so much weirder to hold a dumbbell overhead. Yeah. And then you're walking like across the gym when people are going from machine to machine. It's just like, there's other things you can do to work core stability, and trunk stiffness is really what we're after. There is not moving. One thing I do like with the sandbag for athletes, depending on what they do and what they need to work on, it kind of looks like one of those stupid exercises that tries to get attention on Instagram, and it probably would get attention. Holding like a bear hug. Oh yeah. Instead of holding it rack, but bear hug, and then attach bands to it, to like the handles. And then, so like me and Theo did this with athletes. We'd be on each side, just pulling it. And so the band's trying to like go each direction, and you're just trying to resist, because it's all anti-rotation, right? So if I'm getting hit on the football field, I'm able to resist the force while still moving forward. That's why I think it's so important if we're trying to create strength and stability for function of the core, it's almost always an anti-movement. Yeah. Hold a plank and don't go into extension. Don't do back extensions over and over again. You could do those too, but it's a different purpose. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have any other ways of programming carries that I didn't touch on?
No. Those are the exact ways that I would program carries. And it's usually the simpler, the better. Yeah. And it's normal stuff like, finding progressions that you can make it, whether you're adding in a step over a hurdle, you are just taking a larger step, you're raising your knees up. And it is kind of dependent upon the client or the person that you're programming for, right? Yeah. Half the time, if you're just a normal person who's just going to the gym, trying to improve your body composition, look good, feel good, just move well, you don't need to make it super fancy. You don't have to look at you're not the person that's off in the corner everyone's looking at, from the side of the eye. Don't want to take a picture or something and be like, I don't know what they're doing, but they look insane right now. Like, we don't want to do that. Like, you don't need to. But all those same ones, especially farmer's carries, suitcase carries, just the simple basic stuff, it gets forgotten because it is so simple and it gets programmed so much that it's like, you don't necessarily need to change that. It just has to get done and progressed over time.
Yeah, 100%. I think that a couple ways you can do this too that are just fun and easy, especially depending on where you are. Like, I think I did this in one of my videos of, it's actually, I think this video has more views than any other video I've ever done on Instagram, which is kind of annoying because it was literally like one of those last minute ones. Like, I had my videographer here and I had a little bit of time and I didn't have a 5th video to film that day, and we needed 5 because that's what I paid him for. And it was like, fuck it, come here. Now, and it was just like, if you don't have this, do this. If you're in a garage gym and you don't have a leg press, flip the trap bar over. But one of them was farmer's carry. Put a band around your waist, attach it to a rack, walk in place with high knees. Yeah. And then you mentioned like bringing your knee up. I actually had a client a couple weeks ago. Shout out to Claire. She's over in Dubai. She said, hey, I'm doing it exactly as you wrote, but I do get like weird looks sometimes. LOL. Like, she's a trainer, so she doesn't care. Yeah. But she's like, I just want to make sure I'm not doing this for no reason, because you mentioned to like bring your knees up. And It is. So one, that makes it when you bring your knee up in a walk, you're on that single leg longer. So there is a balance factor and such, but also it's impossible to go into extension, like lean back onto your spinal rectors if you are doing a high knee. Like you can't. It almost forces your rib cage down. So to keep somebody's core engaged and to avoid them, especially if they're doing like a front rack and they start getting tired and they lean back, because that's what you do when you're tired. You just start to roll back. It forces them to stay in that good position. So that's a good way to do it. I used to love doing, like, Joe DeFranco had these ones where at first I was like, dude, what are you doing? Because he would like walk fast. They're like speed carries. And it looks so weird speed walking with these heavy ass kettlebells. But then it makes sense because you have to walk fast and stop, but you're trying to resist them. Same thing with chaos farmer carries. If you put like a band in there and then a fat grip on top of the band, so you hold the fat grip that's on the bands and the kettlebells are bouncing.
Yep.
And then lastly, bottoms up carry, which is actually probably the best one for shoulder health. Like baseball player, there's like tons of baseball players we'd have to do that because their just shoulders and elbows are just thrashed. I've been doing those more often because my right shoulder's been bugging me. I sent Nick, I'll probably post it today. I'm going to go for a safety bar reverse lunge PR today.
Oh, nice.
So I'm waiting because I'll have a few because I hit this isn't the most ever, but I did 4 reps with for chin-ups with a 65-pound kettlebell.
Solid.
Underneath me. I think it's 66 or 67, however those kettlebells go. But 4 clean full range of motion reps. Not the most weight I've ever done, but for 4 clean reps, and it's been a while. I was like, dope. And then I did a bottoms up press, clean, carry, press, and then perfect, like not like holding it with my other arm, 62-pound kettlebell or whatever it was.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a video of me trying the 70 because I've done a 72-pound kettlebell before, way back, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't hold it in that position without dropping it, and then I did the 62 afterwards. And then I walked up to the camera and showed the weight because I was like, this isn't one of those competition bells. It's the same, But
it feels like those are really hard, especially for grip.
Dude, they're brutal.
That's a really tough. I mean, sure, you have to have strong shoulders, strong rotator cuff just to stabilize it. But like just gripping the dang thing when it's upside down is tough.
Well, and when I'm doing bottoms up work in my warm up, I'm using an 18-pound kettlebell.
Yeah,
it's not super. And the reason I'm using that one is because it's the lightest one I have. I might even use a 10 if I had it, but I don't have one here. And it's just like walking and holding it stable. I actually did this with this kid I was training here for a while, football player. Put a cup of something on top of it, or I'd put like my phone, and I'm like, don't drop my phone. Because if they don't hold that bell, the top of it flat, it'll slide off. Oh yeah. So it's a good way to really focus on that. But when you're doing presses, there's no you don't need to go super heavy like that. It was ego.
100%.
And I'm not mad about it. I was going for that.
But it's cool though.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with the single leg today. I have the safety bar reverse lunges, and I was like, it's been a minute, but I want to get 2 plates on each side, which would be solid. Because the safety bar is, I think, 65 pounds. So that'd be 235, 245.
Yeah.
What's a normal bar? 135. If that bar is
45.
45 pounds, I mean, yeah. And I
yeah.
think the safety bar is 65, so 225 plus 20. God, I'm terrible at math. 245.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll find out one way or another.
If it's posted, I did it. If it's not, it didn't happen.
Blooper reel.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's move on to number 2. All right, so we got, should weight loss goals be based on your total weight or body fat percentage, and why?
This is one that came from my buddy. Mm-hmm. And he got an 8-minute voice memo back. It took him like a couple days to listen to it. Once he listened to it, he was really grateful. But it was, it's funny because I was talking to him about it and I was trying to explain. It turned into this whole long spiel about like maintenance is not a dead set target, it's a moving target, and how much do you pull when you go into cut? Like it just, because he had a long question, but the part that we were kind of going back and forth on was this body fat percentage, because he did a DEXA and then he's in this little competition. They actually run a podcast too. I've been on there before, and so I'm not going to say their names because I don't know if it's public competition, but they're competing in fat loss. So he like texted me on the side and he was like, yo, make sure I'm doing this right so I can win. But they love doing the DEXA, and I was kind of like, hey, like, not to burst your bubble, but it's not like the holy grail. There's a lot of good value in it, which we'll get to in a sec, because I think there's another question on that. But in general, his goal was to drop 3% body fat. Mm-hmm. And the reason this question kind of came about and why he was like, why wouldn't we be able to target off that? Because that's the number that mattered to him. But I was like, dude, when I just have that number, one, I need your actual weight too, you know? You can't predict a percentage loss per week like you can weight. So the reason why setting weight loss targets is better than setting body fat percentage targets is, one, body fat scanners aren't the most accurate, but two, everybody drops that percentage at a different rate. So if one person is more prone to losing muscle tissue, that's going to skew the percentage, right? Because if I stay the same weight and drop body fat, it's going to shift my muscle mass and muscle percentage too. If I don't stay the same weight, but I lose weight and I drop body fat, I'm going to keep that muscle percentage while dropping my body fat. Both of those could be fine because realistically you could deplete a muscle and it says that you lost muscle tissue because that's lean mass technically, even though it's just water in the muscle tissue, but that's still going to confuse somebody because you know what I mean? So I think that at the end of the day, you have to have solid predictors in a standardized system to like really track something. You know, if you're tracking, it's the same thing as like tracking Chipotle on a consistent basis. It's inaccurate every single time.
Yep.
So if you have never dieted and you're creating a massive deficit and you're eating way better and you're exercising for the first time, your deficit's so big that it doesn't matter because it gets blurred. It gets lost in the mix. Your deficit's 1,000 calories. So if your Chipotle's off 100 calories every couple days, it doesn't matter. But once you go and you hit a plateau because you've been going at it for a while, that window of deficit is shrank, right? And so that 100 calories from Chipotle could be the reason you do or don't lose weight that week, you know? So point being is I think the more consistently you do anything with weight loss, the more specific or standardized and trustworthy the numbers you're tracking have to be. Weight is always going to be that, you know? It's going to be a better predictor. It's also something you can, I mean, for one, you can track it every week at your house. Anything you can do to track body fat percentage at your house is so inaccurate, it's insane. My scale right now, because it's one of those ones that tells you through your feet, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Which is super inaccurate because it shoots an electrical current through one foot and then sees how long it takes to get to the other one. If I have abnormally long femurs, that's going to add to my body fat percentage because it slows it down. That's weird. But it tells me I'm like 20% all the time. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I'm so much leaner than the average person.
Yeah.
I'm not like shredded, but I'm not 20%. There's no way. So it's just, yeah, there's no good way. So it's better to use weight because it's something you can actually track on a daily or weekly basis out of your house. It's an easier thing to predict week to week because it's pretty universal. Whereas body fat percentage is going to be different from male to female. It's also going to be different depending on how much muscle mass somebody has, their age. I mean, there's probably more that I'm not thinking of, but body fat percentage is just, I mean, even the fact that lean mass is not just muscle. Lean mass is organs, it's water, it's bone, it's joint, cartilage, ligament. It's everything that is not fat, you know? And it's just, it can be easily, I mean, the difference between carbing up and depleting can change how much muscle you have on a DEXA or any pretty accurate scale. Probably even an ultrasound. Ultrasound's the top tier, but
I think that, I mean, you hit it nail on the head. I mean, also, when I look at those things, I'm looking at progress photos. I'm looking at, you know, measurements, how your clothes are fitting, how you're performing in the gym. It's great to have your body weight on the scale. It's a good indicator, but we always say it's just one tool in your tool belt. And if you're only basing it based off of body fat percentage or the scale, it can look so drastically different. You know, you just take two bodies and they're, oh, this person is 5'10" and they weigh 260. You're like, oh, okay. Well, obviously, they're looking to lose fat and they're a football player and they play for the Seahawks. You're like, well, okay, never mind. Let me take that back. That might be a little different. They also have a six pack and they're just like absolute beasts. You're like, oh,
totally different.
Yeah, completely different. You know, it's just each body's different. Each goal is different. In your specific scenario, taking your pictures on a regular basis, putting on those pants that are just a little bit tight, putting them on every week, doing your measurements, they're going to tell you so much more than if you hop on, you know, like you said, that scale that might read your body fat percentage that could be different every 5 minutes you get on it. That's just going to throw you mentally for a loop.
Totally.
You're going to be thrown off and you're like, cool, yesterday I felt really good because it read this number and now I feel terrible because it read 2% higher. How did I gain 2% body fat in one day? And you're freaking out. And next thing you know, you end up at, the cookie spot, and you're like, well, I just, whatever, throw it out the window. I'm done.
Yeah. Well, and dude, to that point, it's so much easier for a non-fitness professional to understand, hey, the scale went up a pound, and I can give you 10 reasons why, and it's not fat, Sometimes it is, but if you were on point with your diet, or you had too much sodium, or you didn't get good sleep, maybe you didn't take a crap this morning, there's so many things. Whereas like body fat percentage, it's very difficult to explain why that would go up. There's reasons that it's not fat, but still it's like, well, there's all these different factors, and I feel like it's way more disheartening. And I'm glad you pointed out that we can't just look at weight, because that's the only way people get confident and comfortable tracking their weight on a daily basis, is knowing that it's not the only variable. Because when you're tracking all these things, you're not putting that weight on the pedestal anymore. It's easier for you to go, okay, it's not the end all be all. There's all these other factors. And then too, like, I don't know why, I just feel like I want to point this out as well. Cause for guys, the like pants size and stuff is so much different.
Yeah.
I've had the same pants for like some of my pants I've had for years. It's funny because I was literally thinking about this morning. Cause we got to do like school shopping soon for Blakely. I was like, I think I need to get some new pants, cause I literally haven't got new pants in probably a couple years. Because they fit when I was like, they were pretty loose in contest prep. Actually, that was the end of 2023. The pants I'm wearing right now, like, because they're just black pants. And I'm very picky. Like, I just want like very simple, comfortable, But point being is, they fit when I'm bulking, when I'm cutting, because I don't have skinnies. And I don't like most of my pants now don't even have a belt loop. So it's not like I got a button that I'm trying to like force. For people listening, that if you wear slacks to work and stuff, totally different.
Yeah.
You can feel that real quick. But what is my like sign of, okay, I'm pushing it, is my spandex, like my training compression shorts. I guess that's a more manly way to say it, not spandex.
They're your spandex. It's fine.
You wearing Spanx, bro. But like my Nike compression shorts, I even have like most of my like briefs are like kind of look like that. I have mine are Volcom from Amazon, but like I got medium because medium seemed like it would fit. And then I ended up getting large because they were kind of tight at a certain point. And so when they start getting a little bit normal around my waist, that waistband, I'm like, okay, now I can tell, right? And I can see a little bit of like my skin and kind of like the water retention, but a little bit of fat on my love handles kind of like hanging over. And I'm like, okay, they're getting kind of tight. So I say that to say, like, guys, if it is harder for you, because I feel like it sneaks up on dudes more, and they're like, before they know it, they're like, holy shit, like I'm like 20 pounds heavier because I wasn't weighing in because I felt fine. Well, that's because you go in your closet, you put on clothes that aren't super skin tight, and then you walk out, look in the mirror, you're like, cool, look great. And then summer comes around and you go swim with the kids and you got a beer belly and you're like, oh shit. So like having some clothes that you wear on a regular basis might be a good, like, look at your briefs, look at your belt loop, those kind of things. And then like Kyle said, don't just weigh yourself, but and you can totally, for people who like DEXA, you could totally do DEXA. Yeah. I've done it multiple times. I did it pre and post prep for my last physique show. I did it pre and post surgery. Well, I did it post surgery twice. So I did it right after my knee surgery and then like months later when I was trying to rebuild tissue. But like, it's really accurate for lean mass and bone mass. And there's a lot of health reasons, but for body fat, it's just, it can be thrown off.
Yeah.
It's not something to hang your hat on. And even if like, okay, as a guy, I know guys that can be at 12% and look shredded, and then other guys have to be at 8% to look shredded. It's why does it matter?
It's the pictures.
It is.
I go back to it every single time, and it's great to have the extra data. If you love DEXA or you love whatever you like to use, that is totally fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still a trend line.
That's it.
It's not one specific thing. Oh, I had a DEXA done and I'm 12% body fat.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like you're going to end up doing this in 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it is. And you're just looking at the trend. And you could do the exact same thing for free with your phone, set up and take progress photos.
Well, and dude, like realistically, that's the weight too. Like it really doesn't matter. I've had so many clients that are the same height, same age range, everything, and their weight is different. And you wouldn't like really say one's leaner than the other or one's more muscular than the other. It's just genetically speaking, somebody might have bigger bones, anything, Yeah. I mean, how tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay. I was going to say you're taller than me. How much do you weigh?
I am 196.
Okay. I'm 5'9", so you're 3 inches taller than me. That's a good amount. But we could take another 6 foot guy and another 5'9" guy. I'm 175. That's quite a bit less than you.
Yeah.
You're also 3 inches taller than me.
Dude, and that's coming down from, before my transformation, it was coming down from 240 or 237. So you look at it and it's like, dude, you can make drastic changes.
Mm-hmm. Huge changes, you know? Yeah. I always think about if I didn't have the 2 knee surgeries I've had, I wonder if I would be heavier, because I lost a lot of muscle on that. I'm not going to but see, I don't give a shit. So even it's not because I feel like I need to be heavier, because there are some guys that get that way. They're like, I've had clients that they're like, I can't get under 200 pounds though. I'm like, why? They're like, somebody they knew, or some back in the day, somebody said basically you're a pussy if you weigh less than 200 pounds. I had a guy that actually he was in the NFL system workforce stuff. So he wasn't, I don't think he was a strength coach, but he was in there doing stuff. And he literally was like, I can't get under 200 pounds. Because he was going to be the smallest guy in this organization. And I'm like, dude, you're not on the field. Not even close.
You're not getting hit every week.
No, it's just totally, you're shorter. You're literally so much smaller than these guys. It doesn't and he needed to get under 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He needed to, because he probably, if he was 180, he'd be healthy and lean. So I was like, bro, come on. But it's crazy how those stories in your head, women do the same thing. It's usually in the reverse though. Yeah. They're not I need to be at least this heavy. They're usually I got to get back to this weight. And it's yeah, but do you? I mean, you can look at pictures of me when I was in my early 20s, or even right when I had Blakely, when my wife had Blakely, when I was 26, I think. I just look feeble. Not because I was weak, but because I was just young.
You're just young.
You know, my face looked smaller. I had I had way thicker hair. But there was a lot.
Yeah.
And it's weird. You look at that and you're like, whoa, yeah, why on earth would I think I would be that? I have more muscle, but I don't know bone. I don't know really the science behind that, because I don't care to study it,
right.
But I definitely was smaller.
Yeah. I was the same way. It's just something you just grow into.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all just oh, it's all muscle, it's all body fat. It's just over time, you're I just am a different person now.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you actually care to achieve is at the end of the day, to answer this actual question.
Yeah.
Probably the way you look, which is going to influence the way you feel, and maybe some of the ways you perform, you know? I mean, for me, even I used to really want to bench just 225. I didn't care about I've hit 300 for one. I never cared about 3 plates though. 2 plates for reps was it was kind of an ego goal, but I was that feels really cool. I want to hear the weights clanking. I like that. But then I did it and I was like, this doesn't really help me with anything in life. If anything, an overhead press would. Yeah. Weighted chin up would be more valuable. You know, being able to run a half marathon was way more valuable for my health and functionality. So I think understanding, and that's why when we're making the combine stuff, which I don't know if we're going to call it the Tailored Coaching Combine yet, because I like the idea of more normality. This is for average dudes who just want to compete in something.
Yeah.
And the more I get into it, man, the more I'm planning on making it really cool and hosting something, because I think it would just be so fun. But it's a trap bar deadlift, not because a deadlift's better than squat, but because it's more likely that you're going to need to pick something up heavy off the floor.
Yep.
You know, and so that is the test. Bench press is on there because that's similar to the combine, but I've thought a lot about switching it to an overhead press. It makes so much more sense. Chin ups are on there. Running a mile is on there. I don't know. You know, these things are, a farmer's carry is on there. We were talking about earlier. How far can you carry some heavy weight, you know? So think about those things, I guess, more than you think about your body fat percentages is the gist of it, you know?
That makes sense. All right, let's move on to number 3. Okay, well, hey, this plays right off of that one. So what's the most accurate way to find out your true body fat percentage? So
I can't remember the URL off the top of my head, but if you Google search Tailored Coaching Method and then body fat scanner, I'll try to remember to link it in the show notes of this one too, but I go over all the different types. BOD pod, I think it's BPI, bioelectrical impedance.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, BMP or whatever that is, you hold it in your hands. Same thing that the scale does when you step on it. But that, BOD pod, calipers, DEXA, in-body, all those ones. And it's cool because I break down the science, because there's actually studies on all of them that show how accurate they actually are. And even DEXA. DEXA was the closest one. I think DEXA was still up to, it was at 3 to 6% off. It's pretty crazy if you think about it. It's okay, if you're 10%, that could say 7 or 13 or maybe all the way up to 15. That's a big difference, you know? Now, there's ways for them to make it more accurate, but the problem is that there's settings that the tech, actually, my good friend Chris Barakat, who is a natural bodybuilder, coach, and a professor down in Florida, actually. He'd be a good one. He's in I don't think he's in Daytona. Tampa's not.
No, it's on the other side.
Okay, I think he's in Tampa. That's where a lot of like the bodybuilding stuff is.
Okay.
But he's talked about this a lot too. Like he showed a video way back where he changed the settings and then they would do it again and change the settings again. And just to prove like if you don't have the same exact person running the DEXA, it could be skewed because there's different settings and it's not that one's wrong and one's right, but it's that you have to have settings the same each time you do it. You got to do it at the same time of day. You should probably do it the same day of the week. If you're in a big deficit in one versus the other, that's going to influence it. And if you're doing a cut and then trying to tell DEXA at the end, I mean, I'm just going to cut my carbs for a couple days and dehydrate myself and just, you know what I mean? I'm going to have really light body weight.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to carb up on my way to the DEXA with rice cakes, just dry, pure, starchy carb and some water and salt. And I'm going to have a ton of muscle and no body fat. Mm-hmm. Like you know what I mean? So you can rig it intentionally, but some of them were like wildly off, bro. I always feel bad saying this one because I know a lot of gym owners and I even know some good gym owners that do use the InBody. Mm-hmm. So I hate shitting on it, but it's pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, it's not, it can, again, these are all like, if you do it the exact same every time, it can give you a trend. Mm-hmm. The problem is that if it tells somebody they're 30% when they get in there, that like crushes them, you know, and you better hope that you did the settings right. So that next time it says at least 28, you know, so they drop a little bit, but sometimes it doesn't do that for you. So it's just not a good, I mean, I talk about it in the blog, I did a DEXA and an InBody in the same room because that's how they had it set up in Seattle, DEXA Fit. And I literally did it in the DEXA scan. I was 13%. This was post-surgery. Mm-hmm. Crutched to the other side, stepped in the InBody, and I was 26%.
What?
Insane. 13 was probably accurate, to be honest with you. Yeah. Post-surgery, 8 weeks, no training really besides like some curls stuff, not being super dialed in. And that's still, even that is like healthy.
Yeah.
You know? But 26%? I was like, bro, come on.
That's such a huge difference.
It's obese, like for a man. Like
that's
it's not even close to what I am. So, but it was just to prove a point, you know? And I literally went there and did it right before writing the blog intentionally because that's why I went there to write this blog. I wrote the blog in like 2019, so it's been out for a minute. But the research is the research, you know? So what it concludes to is basically the most accurate way to test your body fat is to be a cadaver, which means you got to die. Nobody's going to do that. So there's really no super accurate way. I don't have ultrasound on that article, but ultrasound's supposed to be pretty accurate.
Have you done that?
No, because you can't, like insurance isn't going to pay for that. Oh, you want to test your body fat? Sure. No, like you have to be injured and like hurt. And then if you know the doctor, maybe they'll pull that result too for you. But usually when you get a ultrasound, they'll show you the x-ray and just say, hey, this bone is broken. That's it, you know? So, that's not usually what they do it for.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would say the most accurate way is a DEXA. You can do it if you want. I would just make sure you do it same place, same time of day, space it out quite a bit. I don't know. Like, it's hard to say if you would do it like, I don't know. Again, because if you do it at the end of a cut, you're kind of depleted from a cut if you're still in the calorie deficit. You know, I think healthy weight loss is like if you're somebody who has like 50, 60 pounds to lose and you don't do this massive diet cut or anything, you're just changing your lifestyle. I actually think it's a really useful tool. Because it is going to change a lot, and it's going to show better muscle and bone mass. It's going to show better cartilage, ligament, all that. And you're not like in a deprived state at the end of your cut. You just got healthy. Mm-hmm. So that's probably useful. But for most people, I would rather convince people to stop doing it, honestly.
That's good to know. That's really good to know.
You know, I think there's other cool health, even just your HRV, tracking that. You know, that gives you a lot of health signals. Do get your blood work done. You know, like those things are going to be more useful and you can change them and it improves your health more than what you're going to find on a DEXA.
I was going to say, when I started tracking my sleep.
Yeah.
Insane differences. Mm-hmm. I also became a little bit obsessed with it and it was almost negative.
That's where you got to be careful. It's because if you plan your training too much by the numbers, like it'll just get in your head, you know, and there is a placebo effect to it. So that's why I don't ever track my HRV, but for a short period of time when I need to.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I really want to improve my sleep because I'm not an idiot. I know it needs to be fixed. I'm going to track it for a week just to give myself proof. Yeah, you do sleep like shit. And then I'm going to improve it and track it for that first week to make sure it's working. And then I'm done. Yeah. You know, otherwise I just wear the Garmin for miles and a timer. Like
that makes sense.
You know?
That's literally like when I got an Oura ring, really enjoyed it. But that first week to 2 weeks was just nonstop checking to see how my sleep was. And it was only getting worse because I was constantly like, okay, sleep. I got to do this. I got to improve my score. I got to do all this stuff. And I eventually had to be like, okay, I'm only checking it once every week, once every 2 weeks. Coincidentally, things got better because it just has these little reminders of like, oh, you should probably start getting ready for bed now. You should start winding down. Oh, it's almost like my reminder to grab a book and kind of like start to read a little bit, or turn the TV off, put my phone away, and just kind of go into that chill mode, take a shower, and just kind of do the normal nightly routine. And then sleep got way better. Yeah. You know, and I was like, oh, you check out the end of the week. I'm like, wow, I went up by like 5 points or whatever it is, you know?
You know what's crazy is, so the Garmin does this other thing. I think it's going off of obviously your HRV and probably your hours of sleep and stuff, but it'll tell you at the end of the night if it's been a stressful day, quote unquote.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little reminder, and it's like, you've had a stressful day. It's probably you should probably wind down early tonight. Try to relax. Like, it's just a cool reminder. Dude, that thing, because I've been wearing this for probably a year now, because even when I wasn't running, I liked to know the time. Yeah. You know? And I don't connect it to most of the apps so that I don't get tons of notifications. But like, it told me that every single day, every single night. And it's like, you should probably relax. It was a stressful day. And I was like, this thing's broken. It's so dumb. This is just the hard head in me. I just ignored it every time. And part of me convinced myself that it just did that because it's trying to optimize. And I'm like, it's not, like, I'm not actually stressed. It's fine. I can handle it. Dude, since I started improving my sleep, this quarter, right? Yeah. This has only been a couple months. Hasn't gone off once. Literally hasn't gone off in so long. It's crazy. So I don't pay attention to the number, but to your point of the reminders being useful, I don't pay attention to the HRV numbers because I will probably get kind of obsessive with it. I like the numbers and I'm trying to optimize it. But that reminder, if I wasn't a hardhead, I could see that and go, now I'm going to actually pay attention to it, because if it does go off, I'm like, oh shit, it hasn't gone off in a while. And then the other way that I started knowing for sure that I was getting good sleep rather than just tracking it was dreams. Oh. I started remembering my dreams again. Oh. And so like the science behind that, from what I know, because I've had a couple sleep experts on the podcast, you go through like stages of sleep. Yeah. Your REM sleep, the deep sleep, is in the middle of the night. That's when you're in your deepest phase of sleep. That's when you dream. But the only way to truly remember your dreams is if you reverse those phases. So you don't just abruptly wake up, you know? And even if somebody doesn't like wake you up, but if your alarm goes off and your body's not ready, you haven't gone through like phase, 4 and 5 or whatever it is. Cause I think there's like 2 phases to get into REM sleep. REM sleep's like 3rd phase, I think. And then you go out of sleep. So it's almost like a cool down on a run. You know, you like bring your heart rate down, but you still keep moving. And you go from a hard run to a light run to a walk. And then you finally sit. You don't just, sit. And so that's how you actually remember your dreams. But I started, like, it was like every morning Shannon gets up and I'm like, that's a crazy dream last night, and I want to tell her. And after like a week, I was like, holy shit, I am having a lot of weird dreams, but I remember them all. This is crazy. So for people listening, if you never remember your dreams, it might be because you're either not getting into REM sleep or you're not letting yourself go through all the cycles of sleep each night.
That makes a lot of sense because, when I am checking the sleep, and I don't do it as often anymore, generally when I have a night where it shows me I've gotten, a majority of my REM sleep in, I always dream. And I never really, correlated the two. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. But now I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I'm definitely going to like keep an eye on that and see when I have my dreams that I wake up and I'm like, I got to tell Grace about it. This was nuts. Like,
are you the type that like Googles what your dream means? Like, do you think your dreams mean stuff?
They might. I never focus on that.
It's a weird question.
You know what? Like, that's something that Grace would probably do. Oh yeah, 100%. She would definitely do that. Yeah. For me, I wake up and I'm like, wow, that was pretty weird. Yeah. All right. And I'm just like I'm like very much like the dog that's just like, I'm happy. And I just kind of go about my day. I just get my normal stuff done. I'm like, that could mean probably 74 different things. Yeah. And I could make up 74 more different things it could mean. Or I could just say, oh, that was weird. Yeah. And then I just keep moving on.
I mean, you know me, I have like, there's a spiritual side to me. So I do believe that. And then there's ones that I'm like, that definitely didn't mean anything. Cause it's just so weird and random. Yeah. Like I've had dreams of people breaking into our house in the middle of the night, and I'm like very well equipped to kill everybody and save my family, which is not real. Like, I mean, yeah, I think I would hold my own, but like, I mean, to the point where I'm like John Wick.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's not even like, I don't wake up in a scary dream. I wake up like excited. Cause I'm like, that was about to be a bad dream until I owned it. Like that was sick. But I don't think that means anything. It's not like somebody's coming tonight. I need to prepare, But I've had dreams where 2 that stand out to me that are weird, and I can't remember what it was because I did look them up, and at the time it made sense. A while ago, it was a never-ending staircase. and the staircase was going onto a bridge on a freeway. And so there's cars going underneath me, but I was trying to reach the top of the stairs, but it kept going and kept building as I was walking. And it was like really scary. Like I woke up sweating.
Wow.
But there was a strong meaning behind that. And it was a couple years ago. I'll never forget it. And this one was just either early this year or at the end of last year. We were at a wedding venue. Me and Shannon were like renewing our vows, I think it was, or maybe it was our friend's wedding. But basically we had this area that we were doing the wedding in, and the exterminators wouldn't come to help us with the snake problem because it was like this ancient tribal land or something weird. And I had a shovel, and I was just like, or maybe it was an axe. It was something crazy. Like I was just basically chopping the heads of snakes off. Like there were snakes. It was infested with snakes. And I had to like drag this bag around and cut these snakes' head off. And then I had to throw them over this cliff into this big pit. Like super detailed. I remember it like vividly. That was what was weird about it. And then I remember looking up like, what does it mean when you're dreaming about cutting snakes' heads off? And there was like a whole thing that I was like, kind of makes sense.
Really?
Same thing with the staircase. Yeah. Like those. So every once in a while, like I do think that there are dreams. I mean, the Bible talks about it. Like there's dreams that are put into people's minds and hearts. And I don't know if it's necessarily like this determines your future, but like there's things that are on your mind subconsciously that need to be brought to the forefront. And it can sometimes shift the direction you're going. It can change your life. It can change the relationships you have, the business model, the whatever it is, moving across the country, just random stuff that could be like tucked away that you're like subconsciously trying to, ignore. And a dream can actually like make you dig into it. And I think there's a reason for that.
Interesting.
Whether it's God or whether it's like, this is on your mind and you're ignoring it and you're trying to tuck it away.
Yeah.
And your dreams are going to bring it out.
It's making me realize I don't have that many reoccurring dreams. A lot of them will be a one and done. That's just weird.
Yeah.
If I have had those reoccurring dreams, it would have been a while ago. Then now I'm just like, I just don't remember them, and they haven't come back for a long time. So I'm like, this is interesting. I don't know what it means, or if it does have meaning that you don't have too many reoccurring dreams, or even if I do, like, you get up in the morning and it's like go, go, go. And I don't sit there and be like, let me log every time I've had this specific dream about snakes and about this and about that.
I've had the snake one twice. The stairway one only once.
Oh, okay.
But that's the only snake one's the only one I've ever had twice.
Oh,
which is weird. But
all right, okay.
Who knows?
All right, let's keep on moving on. Let's see what we got. So number 4. This one reads, insulin risk and blood sugar spikes. Will this impact my fat loss goals? And do I need to worry about it?
I think that the easiest way to answer this question is that if you're not a diabetic, you really, really do not need to worry about it. Your insulin's not bad. It's not a bad thing. They say insulin is the cause of obesity. Insulin resistance is the cause of obesity. No, obesity causes insulin resistance. Insulin resistance may further exacerbate obesity, like it makes it more difficult to lose weight, maybe. But really, it's a result of, I used to be like, well, the chicken before the egg thing. It's not even that, because that we don't know, which is a weird rabbit hole to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But like this, we do know. Like there's reasons that people become insulin resistant. One could be genetics, which is out of your control. One is obesity. Calorie surplus can cause some insulin resistance. Stress, lack of sleep. There's a lot of different things that can actually cause this. And insulin is a storage or a fuel utilization hormone. So they say like when you have too much insulin in your blood, or your blood sugar's high, or you're spiking insulin all the time, you're going to store more body fat. That's not true, because insulin is actually causing your body to utilize fuel that is stored. Typically it's going to burn carbs. That's why they say it's like, oh, you're a sugar burner. Well, that's only true if you're eating more carbs. So if you're eating in a calorie surplus, it's going to burn the carbs first for sure. And it might not get to the fat because you're in a surplus, which is unfortunate, which means you don't need to remove carbs or worry about blood sugar or insulin. You need to just eat less food. Exercise reduces insulin levels too, and improves your blood sugar and prevents insulin resistance. But like, insulin is good. Insulin can help utilize fuel. It can help blunt cortisol levels for stress. It can help with performance. It can help with muscle growth. It literally triggers protein synthesis. So if we want to build more muscle, it's why bodybuilders inject insulin into the body. If insulin caused obesity, bodybuilders trying to get ripped and huge muscular wise would not inject it into their body, which is not healthy. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's just not a bad thing, So I think it's just hard because there's so many people like demonizing it and making it like a scary thing when it's just not that. Blood sugar levels can be out of whack. You can be on a keto diet and have terrible blood sugar spikes because you're stressed out, not sleeping, and too much cortisol, you train really hard, whatever it is. You can eat a lot of protein in a meal, and it's going to spike your insulin and blood sugar. So it's just not, it's one of those things where instead of worrying about that stuff, because to me it's either A, you heard something and it scares you from actually taking action on your goals, or B, you use that as a scapegoat because you're like, it's just impossible to lose weight because all this stuff does spike my insulin or blood sugar, and I'm just, fuck it, not going to try.
Yeah.
It's a scapegoat because realistically, everything that would help your insulin levels and blood sugar levels and prevent insulin resistance is also what would just help you lose weight. And even if you take the actions associated with any of this away and just look at weight loss removes insulin resistance and improves health, and all-cause mortality. So it's like exercise, eat in a calorie deficit. I don't care if you're high carb, high fat, low carb, whatever. Just eat protein, be in a calorie balance, and move your body. Like you do those things and just manage stress. All that stuff's going to go away without you even paying attention to it.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, thinking about the same topic, I remember Jordan Syatt. So he did a whole YouTube video on this where essentially he was wearing one of those continuous blood glucose monitors, and just wanted to show on all these different foods he was eating. He's like, he's the tester, just like you would do, like test it on myself, right? And just recording all these different spikes, what's happening, actively losing weight or whatever the case may be. And he's just showing what's going on a regular basis. You could eat a piece of fruit, you could eat a vegetable, you could eat just protein, and you're going to get different spikes. And it's very normal and it's regular, it's common. And like just demonizing or, using fear as that way to push something generally is the first thing that I look at that I go, I'm going to take a step back and go like, something's up here, right? Like if you're telling me all the positives or just giving me the straight up facts on what's going on, I'm kind of like, okay, let me make up my mind for it. If you're just literally like, you're going to die tomorrow, I'm going to go, okay, this sounds kind of.
Well, it's like those videos I was filming today, dude. Like each one of those people has something to sell. Like the guy literally talks about how like one of the videos is like, these 5 vegetables are causing you to like not burn any body fat. And then at the very end, he's like, if this confuses you, buy my book, The Metabolism something. And I was just like, what? Like, it really does that at the end of it. I'm like, bro, come on.
That's the thing. As coaches, obviously we help people, but it's a business. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Duh. But at the end of the day, when you see, coaches, like especially through Tailored, make posts, it's always, here's great information. And it's not like, buy my coaching right now, otherwise you die tomorrow. It's always just, here are the reasons why we would set this up for certain clients and this up for other clients. Use it. You don't need to purchase anything with me. You don't need to coach with me. Literally just take great information that helps normal, average people just feel better, look better, lose a little bit of weight, whatever their goal is. And if you never bought anything with me, great. As long as you literally feel amazing, hell yes. We're here to help people first and foremost. And the people that need a little bit more of hand-holding, a little more accountability, someone just to check in with because they don't have that in their life, awesome. Like, we're here for you. But the people who are first and foremost just always pushing a product, I'm just like, dude, this is so, I don't know. I just feel like.
Well, think about it. You buy a book, it's very unlikely you're going to return it. Because it's cheap, it's a transaction, it's done. Coaching is a constant service, so you're reliable. We're reliable to consistently show up, consistently provide trustworthy, valuable information, consistently get you results. So it's not like we do that and then the next week, like, there's no relationship here, so we can be like, wipe our hands free. It's like, no, like, we're telling you this, then you sign up, and then we're talking to you every single week. So if we don't tell you the truth or something accurate, like, it just bites us in the ass. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But unfortunately, that's the people who have the biggest followings. Those are the people that sell these random weird things.
Because they're outlandish. It gets a lot of clicks, a little rage bait.
I mean, the band one from Dave Asprey drove me nuts. Because I think he does sell like resistance bands now and stuff. And I'm like, bro, you're literally saying that it builds more muscle to use bands than dumbbells because of gravity? That's what he's saying. I was like, dude, my head hurts watching this. This doesn't make sense. That one got me angry. I was like, dude, this is pissing me off.
I got to take a step back here real quick. Let me take a deep breath. Gosh. All right. Let's move on to question number 5, right? What should I tell my nutrition clients when it comes to seed oils?
The easiest way, so this is obviously from a coach. And this is the part that makes me mad too, is like, because there's so much crazy information out there, even coaches who are less experienced are like, they have to be scared of what they say to their clients. Because if You know, like at the end of the day, if I have a client who was eating McDonald's every day and now they're not eating any fast food, but they have canola oil every day, I'm like, bro, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? So the easiest thing to tell people is that 90% of information you find on seed oil is not backed up by enough long-term data to really support the claims. It's also most likely fear-mongering, because everybody you see talking about seed oils, it's fear-mongering. The only time you ever see somebody being like casual about it is like Joe Rogan, and he'll even say like, I'm not a nutritionist, but like I try to stay away from it. I think that's a smart idea, which is a very like casual, like I don't really know, but this is what I'm doing. Cool. Like that's fine. But everybody else is like, you need to stay away from this. This one guy, the dude that said the same thing about the veggies, he had this video where he has a card. It's a seed oil allergen card. And he's like telling people to get that. And you just show them at restaurants and they have to change the way they cook your food. And I was like, bro, you are like, this is where I'm like, this is common sense. If you just watch these people and just ask yourself, do these people actually coach anybody? Because I promise you, a normal human being doesn't want to show a fucking card to a waiter to say, hey, you got to change the way you're cooking my food because I can't have any seed oil. I'm allergic, and like without an actual allergy test to prove that. Like, nobody does that. It's the same way with like super rigid bodybuilders expecting clients to bring Tupperware to a family Easter dinner. It's like, bro, that is not happening. And I don't want it to. That causes eating disorders.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like this is where I think it's just common sense, put your thinking cap on and just do the coaching filter. Is like, does this make sense in real life? And if the answer is no, then this person doesn't actually coach people. I guarantee. They're just there for views, you know? Now, are seed oils good for you? No, they're not good for you. I can think of a lot of things. I smoked a fat cigar last night. Not good for me. It's not. But you know what was good for me? My wife had a glass of wine. It was like sunset. The trees were blowing. And it was just me and her out there for 40 minutes while I smoked a cigar and she drank a glass of wine, talking about life, no phones. That's really good for me. You know, the only way my wife is going to sit outside when there are bugs, I like the little mosquito thing trying to, you know, is if I'm smoking a cigar because she won't let me smoke them inside. So like, I got to smoke a cigar to have this moment in a way, you know, I'm making excuses now, but the point is that that's not ruining my health. Like, is it good for me? No, but there are benefits to it. Having seed oil, is it good for you? No, probably not. But is going out to eat once a week, or maybe just a couple times a month, to be with family, to be with friends, to not being the person who's trying to weigh their food at Applebee's, like, yes, it is good for you to not be that weirdo and to just enjoy and have flexibility in the diet. And that means you're probably going to eat some things that are bad for you. But also, the more weight you lose and the leaner you are, all of those potential negative things and symptoms and causes from stuff like seed oil just doesn't seem to really affect you, because every time they factor in a higher protein intake, calorie deficit or balance, exercise, all these things, it just counteracts any negative side effects that would happen from the stuff like seed oil. And this is the same thing with like red meat, when red meat was like this big deal. Then they did correlation studies where they go, okay, now let's filter the conditions, remove anybody who smokes cigarettes, remove anybody who's eating fast food and where they source this red meat and all these things. All of a sudden, red meat's good for you. It doesn't cause cancer. Wow, that's what, you know what I mean? So it's just crazy. So the real answer to of like, you know, with seed oil is the reason a lot of studies show that there's so many negative side effects, which is probably people's next question is like, okay, well, if that's true, why do we see these studies? It's because the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s is really bad, which is common. Most people don't eat enough omega-3s unless you live in like Asia, because there's a lot of fish, shellfish, seaweed, kelp, like it's very normal. That's why they get a lot of iodine too. So it's way less likely to get iodine deficiency, and therefore any thyroid issue in Japan, like it's non-existent. There's also not many obese people in Japan, lo and behold.
Weird.
But the reality is that if you get enough omega-3s in the diet, it brings your ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 into a better place, and you're not going to have any issues, right? It would be the same thing if you had, for example, whole grain bread, which is good for you, but there's a lot of whole grain bread that has a higher omega-6 fatty acid in it. And just whole grains in general and seeds and stuff like that. So if you had too many of those healthy things, guess what? You're going to have an issue. I'm sure there's a toxic level of omega-3s that you're not supposed to have too. Everything is this way. You can't have too much of any one thing. So if you're not getting any fish oil, no fatty fish in your diet, no like walnuts, Brazil nuts, grass-fed eggs and cage-free eggs, stuff like that, will have some omega-3s, grass-fed beef at times. If you have no omega-3s coming in the diet, your omega-6 is really high, your omega-3 is low. That ratio is what causes the health issues. So as soon as they take the people in those studies that have too much omega-6s and they just give them a bunch of fish oil, they're fine, right? It's the ratio that's the issue. It's like, really anything. I mean, testosterone is good to have, but if you have too much testosterone, you're going to have some health issues. Body fat is good to have. You need some body fat, but if you have too much body fat, you're going to have some issues, right? Everything is this way. So I think that, even like, there's studies with red wine. You have some red wine, it's going to be healthy for your heart and all this stuff. Same with chocolate. Okay, that doesn't last very long. Too much of either of those things is going to lead to bad health. So I think people they love grabbing onto extremes.
I was going to say moderation. It's boring. It's not sexy.
That's the problem.
That's the thing. But it works a lot. And I was just going to say if you're focusing too much on seed oils, which is a hot topic, I get it. Half the time I'm going to ask if you're that coach and you're asking your client, you're like, what are some things you could add? Not subtract. What are the things, not the things we take away? What can we add into this diet to make it a more well-balanced, position where we're just feeling better? Overall, you feel healthy. Adding in those omega-3s, looking at most people don't eat enough fish. They don't have, or they're not supplementing with an omega-3. They don't really, recognize why. They're not thinking about these things, but, they're scrolling for a little bit. They see a few posts that are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die tomorrow because I've had this. And now it's everywhere around me. I'm breathing it in, and then it's just, now I'm scared and fear.
Well, the hard part with that too is look, if you're eating fast food all the time and you're getting a ton of omega-6s in seed oil, that's probably not a good thing, but it's not just bad because seed oil. It's bad because you're eating a bunch of fast food. Don't worry about eliminating seed oil. Worry about not eating so much fast food or at all. Because what we don't want is people going to any restaurant or like a family gathering and being like, I can't eat that. Like the other weekend we had sandwiches because it was like a family. Shannon's whole family's there. And what am I going to expect her to get me? Dave's Killer Bread, freshly cut? No. It was like slimy deli turkey out of a bag, which I don't ever eat. It was Kraft cheese, which I personally don't like, and mayonnaise on white bread. I think it was Wonder Bread because that's what the kids wanted. I ate it because I was hungry. And there was nothing else. We're at a family. It is what it is. That one sandwich is not going to kill me, and I'm fine.
Turns out what you are what you do a majority of the time.
Exactly. Yeah. You just can't go to these extremes. I wish so bad that I told this to my buddy the other day who was asking me questions. I was like, look, bro, the amount of times I've been disappointed because science just once again showed me that you got to train all the time for a really long time and calories are really all that matters. I've been disappointed a lot.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I wish there was I wish intermittent fasting did something amazing. I wish that there was some supplement that came out that was groundbreaking. It's like, no, creatine's the most effective supplement. And you take a little bit every single day for the rest of your life. It's super cheap and you're not going to notice any difference. But in 5 years, you'll be glad you took it. That is the least sexy thing ever. But you know what? I think that's why I like talking about mindset stuff so much and digging into that. And even with marketing, the way people's brains work and how do we do better with marketing so we help more people without being like these people pushing the seed oil, fear mongering stuff, that's interesting to me because that's like Jedi mind tricks.
It is. You end up saying the same thing a million different ways because it is the same thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And one of those ways works way better. And is it because of what you said or the time you posted it? Or is it the algorithm right now? Or is it because some famous person shared it? You know what I mean?
Or just the person who's listening, their time of life.
Yeah.
Right? They don't hear it the first time or the first 50 times until they're in a certain spot in their life and they're like, I needed to hear that. And then you said it again and boom, it sticks. You just don't know.
Yeah. That's so true, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you tell your clients for seed oil.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Should I read the segments? What do you think?
Segments.
Segments.
We'll do rapid fire. We'll crank through these.
Cool. This is sponsored by Jocko Fuel. Use code CHOOSEHARD to save 20% on all your supplements. All right. So what's the one hard thing you think more people need to do?
It's funny because I write these thinking of me asking somebody else.
Huh.
And I don't think about what I what I would say. Do you have an answer that pops up?
That I think more people need to do? Honestly, it's going to be journaling. I've said this, a few different times, and for the clients that I have that listen to the podcast, that definitely know. I'm going to continue to, recommend journaling. It could be in the morning, in the evening, any sort of somewhat mindful reflection on a regular basis is so, I don't know, to me, it was life-changing because it's so easy to go day in and day out and just do your normal routine.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next day comes and you just feel like you're living in repeat and you're not really seeing growth. If anything, you feel frustration if you're not really reaching your goals that you want to hit. You just constantly feel like I get up, I go to work, I got to go to the gym, I got to do this, all these things. And there's zero time for you to sit back and go, what did I learn from that? What were some hard lessons that came from there? And what did I learn? What were some failures? What were some wins? Right? And without having that happen on a regular basis, it does just feel like you're living the same day over and over and over again.
Yeah.
To me, that was the choosing hard thing was the mental aspect, because if you tell me to eat ground beef and rice and broccoli and this and that, I could wake up and do it, but I don't learn anything from it. It's not going to get me to the place where I want to be long term.
Yeah.
As soon as I started journaling and reflecting back on little small daily interactions that I'm so grateful for, or that I didn't recognize years prior, everything started to grow for me with my relationship, with my job, with just my family. Everything started to grow and people started to recognize that. They're like, you're talking different right now, man. I don't know what's going on, but this is great.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. Like even just being okay saying thank you and accepting a compliment.
Yeah.
Never used to do that. I would always be like, no, not me. No, all of a sudden now it's like, thank you so much. I appreciate that. They're like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the one thing that I would say.
It's a sign of disrespect if you tell people, no, like, because you're telling them they're wrong. It's a subconscious thing, but I heard the science behind this, and this guy was breaking down. I was like, God, that's so true. Like, you're kind of an asshole if you reject a compliment. It's not a good look, and we've all done it. We've all done it a ton. That's a good one. I have an answer, and I know this is the sponsor of the next segment, but I'm just going to say it now. Go to tailoredmerch.com or TLRD.shop, choose-hard.shop. They're all there, but link in the show notes. The journal he's talking about, it's such a game changer, and you don't got to think about what's right because it just tells you what's right. But choose hard, again, just like the jockofuel.com coupon code, choose hard, one word, 20% off anything in the store. So go check that out. If there's one thing, that's like the thing we've sell the most of for sure at the Shopify site is the journals, which is cool. And they're buy two, get two free. And I did that because it's like you buy two and then you have the whole year because they last. I did it on purpose when I designed it for a whole quarter, Okay, so I think my answer is going to be just doing something new, because I had a couple things pop in my head, and then it kind of all revolves around the same idea. I think that not enough people, piggybacking off of what you said, is like, because you don't want to get like to this time next year. We're recording this in August. If it's August 2026 and we look back and it's like, what new thing did I learn? Did I do? Did I accomplish in the last year? And if the answer is nothing, that's depressing. It's very sad, and unfortunately that happens to a lot of people. So I think, yeah, and if you don't reflect on, you can't learn from lessons if you don't reflect on it. Like reflection is where you learn, So I just think there's so much value in all that. But I would say that doing something new, because even I tell this to my mentor guys who are business owners, because I do this every week as well. Every Sunday I write like, okay, what needs to get done this week for the business? And I always pick at least 3, no more than 5. I call it my key 5, but I do at least 3 different things, because it's like if I put client check-ins, I do that every week. That's not like, it is on my list, my to-do list, but it's not on my like key for the week. My keys for the week have to be, what is something I can do that I didn't do last week, that I haven't done in maybe many weeks, that will move the needle forward in my life, with my body, in my relationship, whatever it is, right? Something different. I think people don't challenge themselves to do something new often enough. Sometimes that's getting a coach, because that is you investing in yourself, which is new, but also it puts somebody else in the driver's seat to look and examine at your life and go, hey, we're going to switch things up a little bit. And that's uncomfortable because you're not in control anymore. You are, but they're going to tell you, hey, like, you're paying me to do this. Like, let me help you. Start doing this with your routine, change this, and change is uncomfortable. It could be the conversation that you're avoiding. It could be journaling. It could be reading a book. It could be strength training. It could be going to a place that gets you out of your comfort zone, like physically, location, like place, whatever it is. doing new things and just experiencing change, I think is just so powerful. You know, you don't need to go to extremes and change everything and you're like, that's it, quitting my job. Like, it's like, no. I'm saying, like, go give the boss a compliment. Go give the person who is like the lowest on the totem pole a compliment because they're working their ass off. Like, that's a really good one for a lot of people. Go give a stranger a compliment. It's hard. It's very, I do this every once in a while when I'm thinking, I wish I did it daily, because I used to have this thing that was like, it was because I had a coach and a mentor, and it was like every week in my check-in, it was like one thing I did to be a go-giver to a stranger. And it's like, damn, I have to help a stranger in public once a week, which you think you're like, well, that's what I do. I help people. Like, it's easy. It's not. You got to be like looking constantly who needs help.
Yeah.
You know, but I ended up doing random shit for people at the grocery store, in the neighborhood, when I'm walking by, I see a mess, like, and it feels good, you know. But like, I gave a compliment to a lady at the airport when I was flying back from LA, and she was so happy, like so happy. And dude, I literally gave her a compliment on her shirt because she was wearing a, do you know the band AFI?
No.
Exactly.
But
She was wearing an AFI shirt, and I was like, I love that band, and Sing the Sorrow is a great album. That's an awesome shirt. And she just lit up, and she was alone by herself, and I could feel her just being like uncomfortable in this busy place looking around, and she lit up. And I was like, that was dope. Even if I didn't know what AFI was, that would have been worth it, you know?
100%.
Luckily I do, because if she would have been like, what's your favorite song?
Gotta run.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, that you said that exact same thing, giving compliments. It feels so good. Just last week when I went to the Mariners game, we're standing in line. They're doing some giveaway, and there's this guy right in front of me, has this really cool, just like different version Mariners hat. And I don't know this guy, but I'm like, dude, that hat is awesome. He's like, thanks, man. And we just struck up a conversation randomly because you just give someone a compliment. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if guy, girl, whoever, just giving a compliment. It feels amazing. And who doesn't like to hear that?
Yeah.
Right?
Now, imagine if somebody said, great shirt, great hat, whatever, and you just looked at them awkwardly because you didn't know how to accept a compliment, or you said, no, this shirt sucks. Now that person is insecure. It's like, I'm not going to give anybody compliments anymore. They're kind of in a bad mood. Like, you just fucked up their day. Mm-hmm. And like, I say that because there's so many times where people will take a picture and they're like, ew, no, I don't, like, you know, or they're like, oh, stop. This outfit is terrible. Like, whatever it is. It's like, just literally say, thank you. You know, your hair looks great today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I tried really hard, you know, whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. The thing that I always get randomly, it's not like I get compliments all the time, but 90% of the compliments I do get are about my tattoos. It's always like, dude, those are sick tattoos. Like, man, that looks crazy. If they like see one of them, if I'm wearing like a tank top or shorts and they see like the eyeball or something like very detailed.
Yeah.
And I did nothing to earn those tattoos. Like, I paid for them, but like, it's not me doing the art, you know?
Thanks, man. I grew it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I still love when I hear that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. But compliment or some kind of change just in general would be the choose hard, I think.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Cool. You already read the sponsor. So what piece of advice would you give your child when they're in high school? And this one definitely applies for you. I don't have a child right now, but you know.
But what would you know?
It's a good question. I'm going to let you answer first since I answer first last.
It's me and Shannon pulled a card the other night on the card game.
Oh, yeah.
That was similar. That's where I came up with the question, but it was specifically about relationships. Mm-hmm. And I like jokingly said it, but then I was like, actually, I'm dead serious. I said, you don't love that person. Trust me. Like, and so I think in general, I would probably tell Blakely when she's in high school, especially because just I know her so well and I know Shannon so well. So I'd know what I think Shannon would tell her and everything. And so I'm going to tell her something different. Mm-hmm. And I would just be like, hey, it's not that serious. You know, like now that I'm on this side of things, and it's even less serious now, like, hey, high school, it's not that serious. Have fun. Like, your dad got really bad grades, like really bad. I did all right. Yeah. You know, like, I think the social aspect is so much more important. I think that how you treat people is so much more important. I think your dream for the future is so much more important. You know, I think sports are so much more important. I wasn't athletic, but I played sports, but I struggled with my weight off and on. So I wish I would have been more athletic maybe, but like, I wouldn't tell my daughter that advice. But I just think, like, I don't know. I think it's so important to focus on the social stuff, not over stress about the school. Not that like I want her to get bad grades, but like, hey, you don't have to go to college and get a big degree if you don't want to. If you want to, great. If it's a very specific thing and you need it for your career, great. But like, don't stress. You know, you did bad on a test, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You have a dick teacher this year. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. Like, something in his life probably sucks, and so he's taking it out on you. Don't let it change. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, I don't know. I've even had that conversation with her so many times of like, hey, that person might be being mean because they're going through something, and we don't know what they're going through. And either A, they're just a mean person, and that sucks. Would you want to be a mean-hearted person? And of course, she's like, no, I would never want to. It's like, exactly. That would be miserable. Or maybe they go home and it really sucks at home. So like, don't let it ruin your day, you know? But I just think, I don't know, school in general is just, to me, the more I've grown up, the more I've learned, and the more shit I forgot that I learned when I was in school. I'm just like, what did it really give me? Relationships, social skills, and like the basics. Read, write, general math. I never did calculus. I never even got past algebra, I don't think. Maybe pre-algebra. I was terrible in school, bro. Like, it just...
Dude, math was super hard.
It was super hard. But, like, I wasn't a troublemaker. I got in trouble, but it was always like, God damn it, Cody. You know? But it was because I was having fun. Teachers liked me. Like, it was just have a good time. You know? I just think, I don't know. I think some people take shit way too seriously, especially nowadays. Everything is just such a big deal. It's like, hey, let's just chill. And you're going to want to look back. Like, Shannon hated her experience in school because the school she went to, the girls were just super catty. So I think she just dealt with, like... which I get.
High school,
right? And women are different. But like, me and her look back all the time. I'm like, man, I miss high school. I loved high school. I had so much fun. Terrible grades, but so much fun with so many people. But it's like, what made it that experience is I just didn't take it that seriously.
Wow.
Not in a bad, that can sound like really bad advice,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but
don't take it seriously. Whatever you do, that's
Yeah.
my advice. Now, it's interesting to think about, like, obviously, like, I don't have a kid right now. I definitely want to be a dad eventually one day. But in terms of like advice that you would give your child when they're in high school, I'm sitting here thinking from a perspective of when I was in high school, how often was I asking my parents advice for things? You know?
Oh, that's good.
Like, it wasn't that frequently because I don't know about you. I thought I knew everything. And I bet you most teenagers think they know everything about anything. My dad would always say, well, he say something about this or that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I already know everything about it. If I've done a good enough job as a parent that my teenage child is asking me advice on something, I'm over the moon. Yeah. I could give almost any advice, and I'm so happy because they're actually taking, you know, my advice as something that's valuable, and they're not just like, whatever, mom, whatever, dad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good.
You've done a good enough job. You've shown through actions. You've shown up with love. You've always been there for them and not trying to, you know, you're just letting them be who they are, but also guiding them in a way that they're asking you for that. You already hit it out the park.
Yeah. I don't want to say this and make anybody feel like, because like if you got a kid who's a teenager and like, this is not me saying you're doing it wrong, so that's why they don't ask you for advice, or your child, there's something wrong with your kid, that's why they're not asking for it. None of that.
Right.
But I'm curious, can you pinpoint anything that maybe you can look back on and go, I think I treated them that way, or I didn't ask for advice or wisdom or anything because of blank, whether it was on your part or their part?
I mean,
because it's like, now it's like, how do you prevent that?
You might try and prevent that, but I don't know if it is preventable. Like, there's so many, you could look up every single scenario of everything that's happened in your life, and you're like, oh, if only I did this, if only I did that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then you're sitting there walking on eggshells everywhere you go. Yeah. You just have to parent how you parent. And that's coming from someone who does not have a kid. Yeah. But, you know, like, at the end of the day, you just have to live the life that you think is going to be best for them. I know my parents did that, and I'm so grateful for that. And they were not perfect. They made so many mistakes, and I love them for that because I'm still here. I am who I am, and I love exactly who I am, which the fact that I love who I am is a testament to them and how they raised me. Yeah. But not everyone can say that. And all you can do is just go throughout your day and do the best that you can and show up, you know, as a parent.
I mean, I think that's good advice. Go like, hey, your parents know more than you think.
Yeah.
So ask. But like,
oh, they do.
If I look back and I think of just me now and everything, I would say that I think there's part of a child, part of a teenager it doesn't matter. They're not going to, like, it's the same thing. Like, certain bands my dad I don't like because my dad likes it. And now I listen to them, I'm like, it's actually really good music.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like it because he liked it. Or I know that my parent didn't go through this exact thing. So how would they give me advice? And I still believe that to today. It doesn't mean that their opinion's not valuable, but it is just an opinion. And I think that's really important. There's a difference between an opinion and advice. Because if you're telling everybody around you what you're going through in today's world, and they have zero experience going through that or building the business you have or raising a family or anything like that, just know that they can give their opinion, but you can't put all the weight on it because it's just an opinion with no evidence to back up, right? Yeah. So I think that one thing I knew a lot about my parents, they didn't hide anything from me. So any experience that they went through or that I was going through, I knew if they had gone through it or not. So I think that's one thing that parents can do is just be honest and open about your experience in life. I think that the other thing is just being a trustworthy, trying to avoid getting them in trouble and focus more on correcting them, because I think there's a difference. Even when Blakely goes through stuff, we have to pause sometimes because sometimes it gets you frustrated, but it's okay, am I going to be able to correct her and for her to actually correct this behavior trait or habit that I don't like by me getting her in trouble or by me saying it's okay. And then once things calm down, correcting her and you know what I mean? Obviously the latter. So doing those things right, which nobody ever does all the time, right? But trying to focus on those things I think is probably crucial. And then I would say this is my advice for anybody. This is what me and Shannon focus on this a lot. And I think this is probably the most powerful thing. And it is based on research, unfortunately, because it shows that sometimes people outside the home actually have more influence on your kid than you do because your child is more curious about the best friend's parents and the teacher and the coach than they are about their parents. That's just because it's different. They think they know mom and dad, so they think they know everything about them. They don't. But when they see their buddy's dad, they're like, what does he do? What's he into? What is his, you know what I mean? It's a curiosity thing. Yeah. So they listen and then that influences them a lot. And there's a lot of research to show that they get heavily influenced on that. So the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is control their environment. We're focusing constantly on okay, who is their next teacher? Let's try to put in good words for exactly who we want. We asked other teachers, other parents. We literally studied the staff. I'm we want to get the best teacher we can based on our values in our home. So she's not confused, but she's reinforced to what we believe. What about the kids in the neighborhood and outside the neighborhood and on the cheerleading teams? Which ones have good parents? Because we want her around them. The kid she's going to forget about the kid by third grade unless they have every class together and become best friends. But the older adults can influence in a really big way, for better or worse, So.
Absolutely. Okay. Good to know. Very good to know. Okay. Next one. It is sponsored by the Tailored Trainer, the Tailored Trainer. Go download the app, and you can try any one of the programs for 3 weeks, 100% free.
Kyle is not a professional commercial.
In case you were wondering, no. I've been training for weeks on this. No, I'm not.
You didn't even know they were in there.
Not even a little bit. That's all right. I'm just your normal, average, everyday guy,
just a coach.
Cody.
He's not trying to sell you anything.
Okay. What do you wish you'd see more people doing with their fitness routines or goals?
I'm going to say, and I know this is easier said than done. Even for me, it's difficult. Get the family involved. Yeah. We were doing this for a while, and then we kind of its schedule got crazy, all that stuff. We're starting back up again. They're actually coming to the gym with me tomorrow. Saturday mornings. It's we just make a thing out of it. It's we come in the gym, we all work out together. I write Shannon a plan. We get Blakely doing random stuff, running around, playing, just being active. And then we go get coffee. There's this little coffee shop down the street that has a bakery attached to it, so Blake can get some fun. They make fancy chocolate milk with whatever, and we just get coffee. Totally. But whatever we got to do to make it activity fun, I think is just in general influencing. I mean, I'll be real. America's fat, really fat, and it's just very unhealthy, and it's really sad to see. I would just love, and I was just talking to my videographer about Italy and how crazy it is, how the food's better and the weight differences and all these things. And I'm just man, I hate that about America. Let's change that. And it's not seed oils and glyphosates and all this shit. It's not I'm all about making America healthy again. But let's be honest, There's more to it than that. Like, honestly, the biggest push for that should just be exercise.
Yeah.
More than anything. Like, but like, it's just like the lowest hanging fruit. Go on a walk. Just go on a walk. You could have like never got COVID if you just walked more. You're like, literally, don't get a vaccine, exercise. Like, and I'm not even like against, I don't know anything about vaccines. So this is not me like wearing a tinfoil hat and getting mad about it. But I'm just like, why are people screaming about this and they're just not doing any exercise? It's crazy. So I would just say, and I think the best way to change that and influence it on a large scale is to get your family involved. You know what I mean? Go hike, go play tennis, go swim, go bike, go lift, bring them to the gym, do whatever you got to do. Like, play Wii Fit, anything. Like, it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like,
it's a blast.
Exactly what you just said, and mainly prioritizing fun.
Yeah.
That's my number one thing, because even though we are biased, I love strength training. I want to lift weights. I want to get strong, all that kind of stuff, right? If I see a 75-year-old lady out there in the pool doing the exercises, they're out there in the retirement community, I'm like, hell yes, grandma. Like, I love that. If you like taking trampoline classes, if you like doing, I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Anything. And you have a great time and you're having fun with it, you're going to keep on doing that and you're going to be a healthier individual because of that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So not enough people, they're looking at stuff that's just like only results based.
Yeah.
It is purely, oh, how can I lose body fat? How can I do this? How can I do that? I'm like, do you enjoy any of what you are doing right now? No, I dread it every single morning. I have to wake up and go do X, Y, and Z. I'm doing sprints. I'm doing this. I'm like, have you chosen one thing that you actually like? Like, oh, I love riding my bike around the neighborhood with the kids. How often do you do that?
Yeah.
Prioritize your fun. You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, you'd probably get to your fat loss goal faster.
Yeah.
But you definitely, even if you didn't, you would sustain it longer. Guaranteed. You know? And it's funny because people have asked me, like, should I be doing sprints? And I'm like, no. Like, why do you do them? I love sprinting.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody was like, hey, how do I lose fat, stay healthy, keep my joints healthy? I'd be like, walk. Don't do sprints. You're probably going to pull a hammy. Like, you're going to be sore. I've pulled my groin before. People get hernias. Like, if you just don't know how to sprint right, you know, it's a whole thing. But I like it. I just feel like a savage, you know? It's funny because, and I think, you know, to your point with the fun, figure out what that means to you too. Dude, I've thought about my workout today quite a few times today because I want to hit that reverse lunge.
Right.
Like, some people are like, why is that fun? It just is for me, okay?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing for me. If I didn't look at the program and be like, I'm going to try to hit a PR on that and then think about what I've done past and stuff, I probably wouldn't be as amped up about it. And for somebody who's been training for 15 plus years, it takes a lot for me to get excited about a workout. Like, it's got to be a really good workout, or I have to have a reason for it. And it doesn't mean that single leg PRs are like something super special. It's great. But like, point is like, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Figure out what your thing is, you know?
And it's a season of life. Guess what? If you're one season, you're into swimming. Just like kids, when we were growing up, you're just playing new sports. You're trying new things. You can do the same thing as an adult. You can go try a class here. You can go do aerial. You can do, you know, you can sprint if you really want to, right? You can go do a weightlifting class. You can just have fun trying new things. You said trying new things earlier in the episode. Try new stuff. Sometimes you don't know certain things are fun until you literally go try them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was that much fun. Guess what I'm going to be into for the next 5 years? It's going to be this. And all of a sudden, boom, that is your motivation. That's your driving factor. Yeah. And again, 5 years down the road, you try something new, you're like, oh my gosh, there's another thing.
Bro, I hated running so bad. And so I just never did it. And then I did half marathon. Now I love it. I ran this morning. This is the third run this week. Like, and I'm not training for anything. I just enjoy what it does for me. You know what I mean? And it's something that I literally kept telling myself I hated. Mm-hmm. And I understand why I thought I would hate it. But I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
And now I know. So
now I know.
Solid episode once again. Hopefully that answered your questions and then some, because we went on quite a few rants. But if you have questions, go to choose-hard.com. There is a button that says Q&A/inquiries. You can give us guest recommendations, topic recommendations, or just ask a question. You can also follow me on Instagram and just message me if you have a question, or wait for the prompt to come up on Choose Hard Podcast Instagram. That's at Choose Hard Podcast, and we'll post it on the story to make sure that you can ask questions there. But I'll link everything, including Kyle's Instagram, my Instagram, all that kind of stuff in the description of this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Leave us a 5-star rating review. If you enjoyed this, share this with a friend, because people need to hear this information. It is completely free, and we're just trying to help people. So join the squad, help people with us. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.